So are you a Zionist? Are you a Zionist?
That depends what you mean by Zionism. There's some definition of Zionist according to which I'm not a Zionist, and there's one definition according to which I'm yes a Zionist. If you consider Zionism the idea that that Jews gathered in parts of Palestine to have an independent community and should enjoy a life when the culture is Jewish, then and to let it flourish and exist, then yes, I am a Zionist. But unfortunately now another definition of Zionist became more prevalent, with which I do not agree and I am opposed to. I'm opposed to Zionism if by Zionism you mean displacement of other people, of taking of other people's rights.
But that's not what it means, does it?
I don't think so, but okay.
What? So because some people who call themselves Zionists are saying that the fact that the Jewish community is established in Palestine, in Federal Republic called Israel, gives them the right to take away other people's property and other people's land, and to this I do not agree.
So in other words, the establishment of the State of Israel, you agree, but they should have allowed the Palestinians to stay.
Israel, because it was decided that Palestine, in which there have been gathering Jews for historical reasons, whenever movement into Palestine became technically possible, Jews did move into Palestine in such numbers that it was, even when they didn't rule the country, they already had a considerable community that was growing all the time. And so when it was decided that the United States partition of Palestine into a Jewish part of Arab part, and I was a supporter of this area, not while it was being taken, because I was a boy of 5 when it was taken, but it was very obvious that we lived in a mixed society where this house was Jewish and this was Muslim, this was Christian, and so all neighborhood means. And it meant that the two parts, that the division of policy will be realized somehow, and so the parts will continue in peace and agreement. Unfortunately, after now as long as this was done by international agreement that international acceptance, if he would have continued on peacefully, I would have no argument if the existing situation become official norm. What I do object is that the people who were Zionists in this moderate term have unfortunately become not the dominant power, and other powers became to dominate Zionism, to which I oppose. As long as most Zionists were peaceful people, were internationally minded people, were social consciousness, and they wanted to till the land with their own hands and not employ labor, and those people, I was happy to be one of them. I was happy to be one of their descendants, one of their supporters. But when they started to use the use of power and of force to dominate other elements and to take other stretches of land and to deny the people rights, then I became their opponent. And if this is if Zionism progresses to be more a law of the screaming case, then I am progressing to be less and less of its supporter.
Well, just say that in the main...
What will make me my happiest? I don't object vehemently to anything.
But you have to be very logical. I mean,
I'm trying to do it. I hope I'm being logical by saying that I will be happiest to have a settlement whereby most Palestinians get compensated for the decades that they and their families suffered, whereby most of the Palestinians will have a satisfactory place to continue their independent and democratic living, where the such few Palestinians as they will insist on coming to Israel will not be denied to do so. My estimate is that a small amount of them will seriously contemplate immigrating to Israel, and such small numbers as would still contemplate immigrating into existing Israel, there is no danger to Israel in Israel accepting them as citizens. But all social predictants maintain that the majority, if they had to choose between money and settlement in Israel and moving into the tiny little Jewish idiotic republic in the Middle East and becoming its faithful citizens, will not agree to do so. So that's why I'm not afraid of giving money to the majority that would accept it, and a place to live in Israel to those who accept that.